In 1965, I believe it was, the Searcy Junior Auxiliary, a group of ladies in this community, saw a need. And the need that they perceived at that time is that parents of special needs children needed some time off, needed some time where their children were in a setting that was safe to do things like go shop for groceries or whatever it was. And so they started the Sunshine School in a little building that was a converted Army barracks. And if the goldfish bowl froze in the wintertime, then school would be turned out. So that tells you what kind of thing it was. But they had this program. There were probably 5 or 6 students in that first little group. But it became obvious real quickly that that wasn't enough, that the need was greater. This was before special education services in the public schools. And so they started a school program, and it was a couple of hours a day, 5 days a week, and the tuition was $10 a month if the parents could pay it, and if they couldn't, then, you know, that was all right. And quite frankly, we never knew where our next donut was coming from, but it thrived, and the little school grew and grew. I was a volunteer over there when I was a senior in high school, and it was a place that got a hold of you and wouldn't let go. But anyway, then the school grew because the need was there. And in the early 70s, there was one building grant for the entire state of Arkansas for special needs. There were 13 communities that wanted that building grant, and Searcy was one of them. When I came as director here 32 years ago, I like to say I was 12, but that's not the truth. Anyway, we were serving 32 students. But we grew and we grew and we grew, and we've used this building. It's been a great building for us, but it's old and it's worn out and it's too small. We're presently serving 60 students in this building and several buildings outside the main building, and that's max for us. And so the hardest part of the job right now is saying to a parent or to an individual, I'm sorry, we can't serve you right now. We don't have the staff and we don't have the space to do it. But there's good news because we're in the middle of a fundraising project, and we're inching ever so more closely to our goal of a new school, which will increase our classroom space from 7 to 12, and it will allow us to bring all of those students that are on that waiting list into this system and where they need to be. And we're also building for the future, because this is a problem that's not going away. We wish we could. We wish we could just wave a magic wand and there would be no more individuals with developmental disabilities, but that's not the case. And so we're building for the future too. We're hoping for this building that will allow this community to provide services for a long time to come. It's a fabulous place to be because this community supports Sunshine School in ways that I can't even begin to tell you. Little small ways like, here's some ice cream for the kids. Bigger ways, here's some money for your programs, or let's do a fishing derby, or let's do a rodeo day, or all kinds of things like that. This place, there are fabulous things going on. There are changes being made every day in students' lives. And if you change a student's life, then you change the life of the family, and then you change the life of the community. And so ultimately, many of our students are going to be able to be productive in the community, and so they're going to be giving back. The civic clubs that are involved with us are all of them, and if I start naming them, I'm going to leave somebody out, but Civitan and Lions and Kiwanis and Rotary and Optimists and all the others. Junior Auxiliary, of course, has continued to be a major support to us in lots of ways, financially and sponsoring our Easter egg hunt and sponsoring our Halloween carnival and all kinds of things. Junior Auxiliary is that group that I know I can call when I need something. But same way with the civic organizations, and same way with individuals in this town. I could start naming individuals, and again, that's a scary thing to do because you leave somebody out. But that I know if we have an urgent need, I can call and say, boy, we're in trouble here, we need this or that, and they're there. I'm asked, when will we have the new building, when will we start the new building? We're at the point right now where we're just sitting on pins and needles, waiting to hear from our builder and waiting to hear from some contributors of materials, so we'll know how much money we have. If we have 80% of what it's going to take, I think we'll say, go ahead. And hope that that will encourage people once they see this is a reality, this is going to happen. to continue to contribute. We haven't stopped our fundraising effort because we need to have enough money to complete the building, we need to furnish this building, we need to endow this building so that it always will have upkeep and will be the kind of facility that we want it to be. The parents, the students, the staff, everybody that I talk to is excited about it, and I think it's something that the community is going to be really, really proud of. It's going to be located out off of Main Street on Airport Loop. It's a great location for us, and it's going to be something that as people come into the community, that's one of the things they're going to be seeing. And I think this community can really, really say with a great deal of pride, we have always supported our citizens with developmental disabilities. With our efforts, with our volunteering, with our funds, they always have, and they're continuing to do that, and it's very gratifying. Sunshine School's a real interesting place. We try to be as typical a school day as we can possibly be, given that we're working with individuals with sometimes severe disabilities. But we try to make it a real typical day. We're not about babysitting, we're about school. Everybody's got an individual plan, and you might have somebody in the preschool that they're working on feeding skills or hygiene skills. You might have somebody in the teenage class that's working on ultimately getting their driver's license. If you go in that teenage class in the afternoons, you may see laundry skills or cooking skills or yard skills, all those things that it's going to take for that person to be as independent as possible. If you go into our adult development class, you'll see individuals that in other settings and in other schools might not be there because we have no upper age limit. We never say, you're 25, you're 30, go home. One of our goals is to work ourselves out of a job. We love it when one of our students can go to a lesser restrictive setting, like back into the public school setting. We love it when one of our students transfers over to the sheltered workshop and into a job situation. But we're also going to maintain the services here for everybody that needs them. By the way, there's no charge to a parent ever for their child to be here. Preschool and adult services, we can bill Medicaid for those services, or there's some state funding for those individuals that might not be Medicaid eligible. A school-age student, his particular school district pays a tuition cost, so there's just not a cost involved to the parent. At times that's been difficult to maintain, but my board is very, very committed to the fact that there will never be a child who can't be here because they can't afford to be. They don't have to afford to be. Right now, what we have to do is make sure that we have the space for them and the place for them, and that's what we're involved in doing.